Okay, Sister Chai Hoon answer 2 questions. Okay, question number 4. What are Rupa Kalapas, group of matter? Explain the different types of each group, Kalapas, under respective modes of origin. So as introduction, Rupa Kalapa and their qualities. There are 28 types of Rupa. These Rupa are produced in the form of tiny material groups called the Kalapas. Kalapas have the following 4 characteristics. 1. All the Rupas in a Kalapa arise together. That is, they have a common genesis. 2. They also cease or dissolve together. That is, they have a common cessation. 3. They all depend on the 4 great essential presence present in the Kalapa for their arising. That is, they have a common dependence. 4. They are so thoroughly mixed that they cannot be distinguished. That is, they coexist. Now we come to the origins of Rupa Kalapas. Pure or tag or 8 inseparables, Avinipoga. Every Kalapa minimally contains 4 essentials, which is Patavi Dhatu, the earth element, which symbolizes solidity, Apo Dhatu, which is equivalent to cohesion, Tejo Dhatu, which refers to temperature or energy, and Vayu Dhatu, which refers to motion or support. The pure or tag is formed by these 4 essentials with addition of 4 elements, that is, color, Vana, Hodo, Ganda, taste, Rasa, nutritive essence, Oja, and from this pure octet, additional rupas may be present depending on the origin mode and function. There are 21 types of kalapas, analyzed by 4 modes of origin. Samudaya, that is, karma, born, kamaja, consciousness born, chitaja, temperature born, utaja, and nutriment born, haraja. So there are 9 kamaja kalapas, 6 chitaja kalapas, 4 utaja kalapas, and 2 aharaja kalapas. Now we'll come to the first one, 9 kamaja kalapas. Kamaja kalapas arise due to past wholesome and unwholesome karma at rebirth linking, and thereafter sustain certain sense spaces and sex. Base grouping or the vital nonet has 9 types of matters to form a unit. That is, the 8 inseparable or Vini, Boga, and material life, Jivita Rupa. The other 8 groupings are by adding the faculties. For example, the 5 pasada, 2 bhava, 1 hadaya, individually to the base grouping unit. The kamaja kalapa is classified into 9 units as in the table on the right. So you can see here they are kamaja kalapa with karma born matters with its respective constituent. You can refer to the notes later. The 9 kamaja kalapas are formed by 18 rupas, that is 8 avini bokas, jivita, Chaku, Sota, Gana, Jiwa, Kaya, Iti, Bhava, Umbhava, Hadayawatu, and Ahara. The second group, 6 Chitaja Kalapas, produced by present moment consciousness and associated Cetasikas, prominent in facial expression, bodily posture, and subtle bodily phenomenon that follows the mind. The mind-born matters group contains 15 types of rupa. Of them, the 8 types of matter form one base unit of this group, that is pure octet. It comprises of 8 inseparable bonds of mind. By adding Sada, Kaya Vinyati, Vachi Vinyati, and 3 mutable Vikara to the pure octet unit, yields another 5 groups. The Chittaja Kalapas is classified into 6 as shown in the table at the right. So you may refer to this table later on. Now we come to 4 Utuja Kalapas. Arise from heat or energy, responsible for growth and continuity of matter throughout life and in non-sentient realms. It comprises of 13 rupas. 8 types of inseparable matters form a basic unit called the Suttataka or pure octet. Addition of sounds and 3 mutable to the base unit forms the other 3 heat-borne matters. Thus, the Utuja Kalapas is classified into 4. Please refer to the table on the right. Now we come to the 2 Aharaja Kalapas. Arising is dependent on nutritive essence or ja from consumed food. They sustain the body. They comprise of 11 rupas, that is 8 separables plus 3 mutables. So you may refer to the table on the right. Quick map by function on the 4 different modes of rupa kalapas. Sense-based eye, ear, nose, tongue, body sensitivity, sex, heart-based, and material faculty, they are all karma born. Intimation, which is bodily and verbal, are actually mind born only. Whereas sound can be mind born, such as speech, or temperature born impacts of instruments, not by karma or nutriment. Growth or continuity of inanimate matters are temperature born. Bodily strength and maintenance, nutriment born, working together with karma born foundation. The importance of learning of rupa kalapas. Insight. Vipassana uses discernment of arising and ceasing of rupa as condition, not self. Observing hardness or softness, referring to the Patavi element, warmth or coolness, Dejo, Tatu, cohesion, Po, and movement or support, Vayo, in the body helps see Kalapa as clusters arising due to conditions, which is karma, mind, temperature, nutriment, reducing self-will and attachment to self. Simple and practical. The rupa kalapas could be experienced in posture and breath in Vipassana meditation. The 3 characteristics, suffering, impermanence, and not self, could be experienced repeatedly, and understand of Buddha's teaching and wisdom could gradually develop. Ethical conduct shapes karma-born matters at rebirth and support a pliant body conducive to practice. By learning karmaja upas, one is reminded the importance of sila practice. Then the reference for this question is Brother Lau's notes and with supplementary notes from Noble AI. Any comment?
Yeah, acceptable. Because this type of question the year one, they come and haunt you. So there's no fixed question of whether they want to set or don't want to set. So up to your luck.
Okay, now we have another one by Sister Chai Hoon. Question 5. Show the thought process Citta Vritti with the Sotapatti path and friction, which is Magga and Phala consciousness, and explain the respective consciousness that precede the path consciousness. So the first question, what is a Sotapanna? From an Abhidhamma perspective, a Sotapanna or stream winner is a practitioner who has attained the first state of enlightenment by eradicating the first three of the 10 factors, which is the self-identity view, doubt, and clinging to rites and rituals. Gaining direct insight, right view into the impermanence of reality, securing unshakable confidence in the triple gem, and is guaranteed liberation within a maximum of 7 more rebirths, never again falling to the four woeful states via dukkha. The sequence of the Citta Vritti for Sotapatti. When a practitioner is ready for Sotapatti, the mind processes reality until the critical moment of insight occurs, involving these key stages in the mind door, Mano Dwara, which is as the following. Preparation, Parikamma. It is the initial mental activities preparing for insight. Then it is proximity, Upachara. It is referring to the consciousness approaching the noble path. Then adaptation, excuse me, Anulama. The mind adapts to noble truth. Immediately follow that is change of lineage, Gotrabu. A crucial moment where the ordinary lineage changes to the noble lineage area, making one Sotapanna Anugami, one who is following the path. Now we refer to Magga. It will be followed by Magga Citta, the single instantaneous thought moment that eradicates the first three factors, which are self-view, doubt, clinging to rites and rituals, and attain nibbana for the first time, making one a Sotapanna. Then follows Phala Citta, one or more instantaneous thought moments, the result of friction of the path, experiencing the bliss of nibbana that just arose. Now we come to Vritti Citta for Sotapatti. Thus, for Sotapatti or stream entry, the Vritti Citta thought process involves a specific sequence culminating in the Magga Citta, path consciousness, and then Phala Citta, friction consciousness, which instantly follow, with the Magga Citta being in the single moment of breakthrough to the noble path, changing lineage to Gotrapu, and the Phala Citta being the resultant bliss, all occurring rapidly, often with Parikamma, Upachara, Anuloma, and Gotrabu preceding the Magga moment, marking the birth of a Sotapanna stream enterer. Apana Citta Vritti. Apana Citta Vritti refers to the cognitive process that occurs during the deep meditative absorption of jhana. This process involves a series of cittas, consciousness moments that are fully focused and absorbed in a single object, free from distraction. This tranquility meditation is highly refined state of consciousness achieved through advanced meditation practices. For the attainment of Magga and Phala and Nibbana, one will further develop his wisdom through insight meditation, which is Vipassana Bhavana. For one to attain Sotapatti path and fruition through jhana, one will experience Apana Citta Vritti. As we continue with Apana Citta Vritti for Mahagata and Lokuttara. Apana Citta Vritti can be grouped under 5 main categories. Number 1, Jhana Vritti, process of absorption. Number 2, Magga Vritti, process of path. Number 3, Phala Samapatti Vritti, attainment of jhana and phala. 4, Abhinya Vritti, direct knowledge. 5, Nirodha Samapatti Vritti, attainment of extinction or cessation of citta and cetasika. Now we come to Jhana Vritti, process of absorption. When one develops mindfulness through any of the samatha object, the hindrances generally get abandoned, while sense sphere wholesome cittas follow one after another. Therefore, the Apana Citta Vritti comprises sense sphere, which is wholesome or functional citta, followed by jhana or magga citta. The wholesome citta will precede in the case of a non-arahant, while the functional citta will precede when the meditator is an arahant. In the jhana and magga vritti, another division is encountered in view of the time involved in reaching the jhana or magga state. One who takes a long period for the arising of apana citta from the state of upachara is known as manda panya, which is a person who is less clever. So you can see that in this case, there arise 4 consciousness. There are 4 mahakusala citta or 4 mahakriya, which is 4 times before the jhanic citta. One who has reached apana states with less time from the state of upachara is known as tika panya. So tika panya is the one who is very clever or more intelligent. Even during the same jhana state, you can see the difference in their citta vritti. Or kipa pinya. In this case, they will arise one of the mahakusala or mahakriya citta for 3 times before the jhanic citta. So we can see that the parikama is present for the manda panya, but no longer present for tika panya. So these are actually abbreviation for the illustration. Same here. For magga vritti, the process of consciousness that occurs at the moment of arising of the path consciousness magga citta and fruition consciousness phala citta is called magga vritti. The ultimate aim of everyone who follows the triple gem is to attain the state of path consciousness and fruit consciousness of the supramundane level, whereby the yogi experiences the 4 noble truths. It takes place at 4 consecutive stages of Sotapatti, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahat. At every state, Nibbana, the 3rd noble truth, becomes the object condition of Magga and Phala citta. Magga vritti. This experience is gained by the yogi when realizing the three characteristics of impermanence, suffering, and non-self while meditating on the Panchakanda. The Magga Chitta arises in any yogi only once. The supramundane wisdom that arises in the Magga Chitta realizes the Four Noble Truths in one hand and cut off the respective factors on the other hand. As the Sanyojanas or the factors are eradicated at their latent disposition, there is no necessity for Magga Chitta to arise for a second time. Hence, the arising of Magga Chitta only once any beings in the whole of samsara. Magga Chitta is followed by 2 or 3 fruition consciousness, Pala Chittas, according to the effort in reaching the Appana. So this is the illustration for Magga and Pala. So this is Magga, this is Pala. You can see that the Manda Panya, the less clever, third attain the Magga Pala, Magga Chitta, they will have acquired crude 2 Pala Chitta, whereas for the very clever one, after Magga Chitta, there will be 3 Pala Chitta. So Magga Chitta and the conditioned object. Even though Nibbana is the object condition of Uttarabu Chitta, the real experience of Nibbana shall be by the Magga and Pala Chitta. The yogi becomes an Arya Pukala with the arising of path consciousness of stream entry. The difference of Chitta Viti and Sakagadami, Anagami, and Arhat will be that instead of the Chitta name Kotrabu, the name Bodhana is introduced. With the change of lineage at stream entry, there is no further change in perspective of lineage. The word Bodhana means pure Chitta, cleansing. They refer either to 1. Morality, Sila, or concentration, Samadhi, or 3. Wisdom, Panya. Pancha Vekana Viti. Once jhana or the path consciousness Magga is attained, it requires yogis to look back on his attainment for clear confirmation. He should review the jhana factors, and for each jhana factor, a thought process occurs with 5 sense sphere, kama, jhana, vana, chitta. So we can see this is the thought process in illustration. In case of Magga Chitta, there will be 5 revolving thought process. Pancha Vekana Viti. After the attainment of Sota Pati Magga, each reviewing thought process will reflect on 1. Magga achieved, 2. Fruition consciousness, 3. Nibbana, 4. Eradicated defilement, Kalisa, 5. Balance defilement or to be eradicated. The next one is Samapati Viti. Attainment process, or in Pali, known as Samapati Viti, are threefold. It consists of Jhana Samapati Viti, Pala Samapati Viti, Nirodha Samapati Viti. Once the Jhana Chitta is established, the yogi should gain mastery of it, and the mastery is called Vasita. Those Vasita or mastery is 5-fold. 1. Avajana Vasita. 2. Sambhajana Vasita. 3. Atitana Vasita. 4. Uttana Vasita. 5. Pacha Vekana Vasita. Once the fivefold mastery well developed, the yogi could enter into absorptions and stay in the state for any period of time he wishes. As a result, jhana samapatti viti would be like the following. So we can see there's a stress of jhana citta, jhana uh, for continuous time frame. Jhana samapatti viti. The citta viti that arises is called jhana samapatti viti. Here, the jhana citta keeps on arising continuously until the yogi decides to descend from samapatti. At the moment, the pala citta will arise continuously until he descends from the pala samapatti. The sotapan is an Arya Pukala who gained the pala samapatti of sotapatti fruition he has already attained. Now it comes to pala samapatti viti. Similarly, when a sotapanna develops the pala citta, he can stay in the position for periods of time he wishes. Four wholesome thought moments that arise before pala consciousness are called anuloma. So we can see this is the diagram for pala samapatti viti. As conclusion, Sotapan does not experience the last two of the apana viti, apinya viti, and nirodha samapatti viti, as they require higher jhanic states and wisdom. So that's all for Sister Chai Hoon's presentation.
She has comprehensive of explaining to the diagram. So no wonder she said it hard time to remember. Because you need to understand the diagram properly before you really understand the whole thing, what's the process. I share you with the this about the Sutapatti one. Okay. As this Chai Hoon mentioned earlier about wouldn't understand because she give a lot of diagram. So this one simple one. So hopefully she can overcome it. So I explain here. Show the thought process with Sotapatti path, fusion, and consciousness, and explain the respective consciousness that preceded the path of consciousness. I think around what she trying to put across. So what I do is I define what is Sotapatti Magga Citta. Can you see?
Yeah.
The path consciousness of the stream enterer and eradicate the first three factors. That's identical view, dot, attachment to rights and riches. Then what is Sotapatti Pala Citta? The fusion consciousness immediately follows experience the taste of Nibbana. And then define the term Citta Vritti is a process of consciousness, the sequential flow of mind moments following the stimulus through a sense door or mind door. So we're going to go through the thought process. The thought process, or what I call Citta Vritti, with Sotapatti path and fusion. The Magat and Pala Cittas are lokutura, meaning their object is Nibbana. This is a radical departure from all ordinary consciousness which take a conditional object. Therefore, the process leading to them is not a typical five sense process. In here is for a stream winner is a mind door process, manodava vitti, specifically of intense vipassana, accumulating in the breakthrough. So we must break through the vipassana to break through this process. This process is initiated by mind door averting consciousness that takes a conditional phenomena as its object for insight. And the accumulating of the insight path is that what is follow. Stage one, Stage one, the vipassana path. Before the path, the yogi is engaged in intense meditation, contemplating on the instead of the object, now it's setting on three characteristics, tilakana, of all conditioned phenomena. A typical insight process runs as follows. First one, mano dvavachana, or mind or everything, adverse to conditional phenomena. Example, the impermanent of mental formation has reached the peak of clarifying as an object of insight. That means now it's a different, it's our mind. Then parikama, preparation, the first jhana movement where the mind prepares for absorption into the insight is still lokiya, that means the mundane one. Then subsequent one is the upachara access. The insight becomes stronger, verging on the breakthrough and still mundane. Then it comes to the fourth one, anumola, or depreciation moment of conformity. So after the first three steps, this conformity come in. This is a critical state. The mind perfectly adapts and conforms. That's very important. This one conforms the characteristic of impermanent. That means you really break through. All impermanent, suffering, and non-self. So it's the last lokiya javana before the super mundane. It abandons the conditioned object and aligns the mental condition towards nibbana. Okay, so from fourth one, this is a very attribute of what you call the important crossover point, gotabu, or chain of lineage. So when from whirling to sutapana, you must change this attribute, gotabu, the immediate predecessor to the path of consciousness. This is the most important chitta in this particular question. And this gotabu means one who crosses the lineage. Is this moment of transition from being a whirling, that's very important. That's why you must understand this word, the whirling to a noble one, you cross to an Arya. So it cut off the family line of the whirling mentality, and object is still nibbana, but it's not yet path consciousness. So it's kriya. That means now it's only a kriya, it's a functional consciousness that perform this transitional function. Is a final mental instant of the ordinary world, still in the ordinary world. So state 2, you must go to state 2, the super mundane process, the actual breakthrough. Immediately following the gotabu, the mental process move irrevocably into the super mundane path plane. The jhana phase of this process is entire lokottara. So it's not so easy. You must cross to this plane. The super mundane jhana series, we have 7 moments. First, we have the Magat Chitta, the path consciousness. So the first jhana moment, this is a Sutapati Magat. That means the food. It performs 4 simultaneous functions of nibbana as its object. So the target is nibbana. So first thing you understand, you cross to the food one, you must understand the nibbana, and it eradicates the defilement of the 3 factors of Sotapanna. Remember the three factors? And now you realize the 4 noble truths fully, understand the working of these 4 noble truths. So this will lead you out of samsara. So this chitta is chemically active, producing the food instantly. So when you come to here, it results in the food. So next step is the chitta, pala chitta, the fusion consciousness. The first moment arises immediately follows the magga with no interruption. It's a result of vipaka, of the path, magga kama. It experiences the peace of nibbana directly, as is passive enjoyment of food, not an active path. So it's the first time I start realizing the taste of this, the peace of nibbana. So upon this, the next chitta arises. The pala chitta second moment, a second moment of fusion arises. Then follow that, the pala chitta third moment arises. The third moment of fusion, some tradition describe 2 or 3 pala movement here. So depend on the sister said clever, okay, or which intelligent side. And then the pala chitta fourth moment. The fourth moment is a moment of fiction. And then you have the Six pala chitta, fifth moment, is a moment of the fusion also. And then the pala chitta sixth moment, a sixth moment of fusion, the standard Javana series is 7 moments in the super mundane process. The first is Maga, the next 6 are the Pala. Okay, so these are different. First is the Maga, and the 6 are the Pala. Following the process ceases, Vitti Nirodha, or lapse back into the Bhavanga, like continuum state. Now that is a stream winner. This is an explanation of consciousness that preceded the path. The consciousness that immediately precedes the Sutta Patti Maga path is the Gotabu Chitta. So she has to understand what is Gotabu. Gotabu is a chain of lineage from the whirling to the stream winner. So this is a definitive Adhibana answer. However, to be comprehensive, we must understand the role relation to its own pedestal. So all this you need to understand here. The full sequence of critical transition. Anuloma, the last mundane javana, its object is conditioned phenomena. Example, formation as impermanent, it perfectly conforms with the mind of the insight. It's a proximate preparation for transition. So when you reach the Gotabu, this immediate pedestal is a functional Kriya consciousness. Its object shift from the conditioned phenomena to Nibbana. However, it does not fully realize Nibbana. It's like seeing the light at the end of tunnel for the very first time. So it's severe, it cut off the attachment to the mundane lineage. It's still considered as a mundane chitta in terms of its karma, but its object is super mundane as a final chitta of ordinary world. This is a final ordinary world. So next you move to Magga path. The first truly super mundane chitta is fully penetrate Nibbana and eradicate defilement. So when cross this here, you will cut off all the defilement. So it give you an analogy as how to explain it. The thing of crossing on the deep jumps. Anuloma is a final perfection run into the edge of the cliff. I mean, running up to the edge of the cliff, below we drop off. Gotabu is a moment your foot leaves the cliff. So it representing a simile. So when your last step at the cliff, when you jump from the cliff, is a point of no return and transition from the cliff to the air. Okay, so Maga is a landing safety for the shore, Nibbana. So it's like you run from the cliff, jump out over, then you reach to the other shore, Nibbana. So here represent all the kind of chitta 1 to 12 of this chitta and the plane and the karma tab and the object and the function. The mano dvava vachana, the mundane tab is a kriya tab. So it condition phenomena. Then this is to avert on the mind object. Then 2 to 4, Pakriya Kama Upachara Anuma. This is a mundane also. It's opening up the kusala, the insight. It conditions the phenomena. And this is a mundane vipassana javanas. Okay, so these are early part which you are trying to cross over. So upon reaching this level of Gotabu, is a transitional state. Is a kriya. Okay, now its object is Nibbana. And then it changes like let me jump off the cliff. It jump off the cliff, then it changes lineage and immediate preceded. Okay? Or eradicate the factor and realize the truth. So when you jump off the cliff, I mean you eradicate the factor and realize the truth. So upon reaching, you get Magga Chitta, the super mundane one. These are Lokotura Kusala. These are Nibbana state. And then finally to the 7 and 12 one, Pala Chitta, super mundane also. You Lokotura Vipaka, you attain Nibbana. So basically, this is trying to put across to explain what is this crossing of this whirling to stream winner, which our sister Teo is trying to with her super diagram. I think I don't know, up to you. If you want to use a diagram to explain also can. This is very straightforward. So the final part is in the immediate sequencing process, Gotama precedes the Magat. So in the causal development sense, the entire sculpture application of view, vipassana, nana, the knowledge of rising and passing away, culminating in anuloma nana preceded. But in the strict chitta vritti, Gotabu is the gatekeeper. So most important is the Gotabu. Once you reach Gotabu, you jump off the cliff. Therefore, to conclude the question precisely, the consciousness that preceded the Sotapadippa consciousness is the thought process of Gotabu, that means the chain of lineage, which itself is preceded and made possibility by Anuloma Chitta, a moment, and you must cross the conformity, confirm, then you can jump the cliff. Then the Gotabu perform an essential function of transitional mental continuum from the mundane to the super mundane plane by taking Nibbana as the object of the first time, clearing the way to the Magat to arise. Okay? So this is a way to explain changing of lineage from this worldly to the Sotapanna. Okay? I hope this one helps her. Okay? So that's it. I will send to you all later.